Hello. Hold on one second.
Can you hear me?
Hi there. How are you?
How are you?
Hi. Happy Friday.
Yeah, right. Every day is Friday for me right now.
kind of same.
Yeah. I'm drinking a beer. I hope you don't mind. You know, I started.
No, it's okay.
I'm sure we'll pop something here.
Good. All righty. Welcome.
So this is Brooke and I'm Kim.
Okay. Who's going to be doing the cooking?
She is.
Oh, no. It's all her. It's all her.
Okay.
We'll see. Might be a mix of both of us.
Gotcha. Okay. Is this your first time doing this?
It is.
Okay. How'd you hear about it? I'm just curious.
So I actually seen it in person when Josh had this first started.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I forget what the chef's name was. I would have to think back. But he made a great dish. I do remember that. It was like scallops. So Josh is my mother's cousin.
Mhm.
And that's how we know about it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. This is my first one, actually. You guys are my very first clients, I guess we call it, or whatever. Yeah, because Josh, his friend owns a bar in East Boston called the Quiet Few, who I'm friends with, and he kind of connected us. Are you frozen or am I frozen?
Might be me. I'll move this way.
Okay. But yeah, I kind of worked out with this whole COVID thing that this is kind of a cool idea for people. So I was on board for it. So I'm very excited. That's for sure. Me
too, definitely. I mean, when I saw it, it was, live in person, like dinner party, but yeah, this is definitely with the times. So
no doubt. I mean, because I do private chef stuff normally, like in person, of course, and I teach cooking classes at Italy. Mm-hmm. So none of that's happening right now. So like, I'm kind of used to the teaching format anyway, or like kind of walking you through how to cook and whatnot. But for right now, I think people just want like different experiences. Since you can't go out, this is sort of like the next best thing. So I hope it takes off because I think it's a really great idea.
I agree. I think it's definitely, what's the word?
It's definitely with the times.
That's for sure.
So let me ask you real quick, what on a scale of 1 to 10 with cooking ability, 1 being you don't know how to boil water and 10 being like pretty good, where do you think we're going to put ourselves here? Just so I know what what to expect. Okay,
I would say I'm probably like a solid 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna be confident here.
Mom?
Mom, what do you think that you would say?
I'm about a 6 to 7.
Okay, good. So we don't have to talk about like boiling water and stuff like that. Like you all understand that concept.
No, we know how to measure and stuff. And
you cook regularly enough, I would assume. So okay, perfect.
We don't do a lot of recipe. Well, she does more recipe cooking than I do. I just do more traditional everyday cooking. Okay,
that's cool. And then what time were you planning on eating?
That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter?
We're very flexible people.
Okay. So we can go over like kind of what you showed me, what the menu is, and I can kind of, because I think for some of the stuff, if you're comfortable cooking, it's not really something I can tell you how to do it, but it's not like I have to walk you through it. It's kind of like common sense stuff. But the pasta, but the pasta I think is going to require a little bit more like stuff to do. So I wanted to focus on that one and then focus on making that vinaigrette for the steak. Did you buy flank steak? Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you cooked flank steak before?
Not really.
No.
I mean, maybe, I think I did like through a HelloFresh recipe, but I don't really remember.
Okay. Is it a big piece, would you say? Like, can I just see it?
They came in 2 packages.
Okay.
She's pulling it out. Yeah, that's the pile of stuff. We can take it out too if we need to. It's very thin, right?
Yes.
So this one was a pound and a quarter, and I mean a pound and a half, and that's a pound, just over a pound. Perfect. So we had about 2.5 pounds.
Plenty. And then you have, I'm assuming, do you have a wide enough pan where you can cook it in one piece, or do you think you'll have to cut it?
That big one that we have.
Like how deep of a pan, does it matter?
No, not depth, but like surface area.
I think that's the one over there that you would sear it. So not this drawer.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are you looking for length this way?
No, like a large, like a cast iron or like a saute pan or something.
Mom. He's talking about this one.
What?
Like this.
Oh, so something for the stove.
Something to sear it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
or however you, yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Sorry. No, don't be sorry. She's a little bit like this.
That's, yeah, so you could fit a steak in there? Perfect. Or fit two. Excellent.
Two, Nick.
Even better.
We're in the middle of class right now. My husband just walked in. He didn't realize this was happening. We forgot to give him the memo.
Why is there this weird guy asking for my pots and pans in the kitchen?
Josh is texting me.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh is texting me. He probably wants to know if we're on. Checking to make sure you're in, no problem. Chef Nick there too. Yeah. All good. Okay.
So I would assume that this is like folded up like into the package and then it unravels when you take it out.
No, that's the thing. So it's funny because like I've cooked flank steak recently, like a month ago I cooked it at home. But it's like a flap. So I didn't know how big it was. So that because what I did here, like at my house, is I had to cut it in half and cook it twice because I didn't have a pan like big enough. So I just didn't know how, but yeah, when you open that package, it might open up and you might have to cut that in half. So just so you can fit it. Okay. But what I was going to say with the steak, because it's not something that, requires too much like finesse, but we only want to cook it like 3 minutes aside, because if you overcook flank steak, it's super tough. So you always want to cook it. You want to make sure it's like medium rare to medium. Mm-hmm. So you're better off undercooking it than overcooking it because it's a super tough piece of meat once we go beyond medium. So cooking it is like super easy. We just don't want to overcook it. So we're always gonna be better erring on the side of underdone and then bumping it up. Cause some people want their steak cooked through, which is perfectly fine. But because of the cut, it's very lean. The other thing too is can you see in the package, can you see the grain of the meat? There should be like lines almost.
Yeah.
When you cut it later, what's super important is that you cut against the grain and you cut super thin, because then it'll be like it won't be chewy. It'll be really nice and tender. But if you cut it the other way, it's like chewing out a piece of leather. So that goes for any piece of meat, but the flank is easy because you can see it tells you like where to cut basically. So just always remember, you're going to be cutting it nice and thin, almost like carne asada for like tacos, like nice thin strips. Mm-hmm. But it's super easy to cook. Usually I would say that we would like want to marinate it ahead of time, but it's really fine. That's why I asked for you to get the rosemary and the garlic and the butter, because we're going to cook it and then you're just going to baste it with a little bit of herbs and butter and like that'll be it. But it's super good. And it's like a really good inexpensive cut and it's yummy. So that's that. Let me just look at my notes here.
Good. Maybe I should get a notebook.
Yeah, Mom, get a notebook.
Get a notebook.
I wish we had one of those like ring lights for like right here so it could shine on me.
I know I had to set up the lighting in here. Like I'm right next to a window, but I had like, if the lighting is not right, it doesn't either.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Or the other way around.
It doesn't.
And
all right, you got your notebook.
I shut the back light off on you, so it's not as bad. You know what I mean, Brooke?
Yeah, there we go. That's
You're not going to start cooking this right now, are you?
Yes, we're cooking for dinner for later.
Oh, so I can eat something right now because I just woke up?
Okay, so what's the next step?
Okay, so the steak is the steak. What I would suggest is when we're ready to cook it or you're ready to cook it, don't put it in the fridge. Leave it, let it sit out.
Okay.
Because if it's at room temp, it'll cook easier, it'll cook more even, and it'll cook faster. The only thing that I would say you want to do maybe is we'll season it, of course. I just personally do salt and pepper, but it's totally up to you. I don't know if you have any Montreal or whatever's kicking around. Sometimes I cheat and I use that stuff because I like it. It's
what is it?
Like the Montreal like steak seasoning stuff or whatever stuff with like flavor.
Chicago steak seasoning?
Perfect. So if you want, what I would do is take the steaks out and then just give them a little bit of whatever, however much you want. I'm not going to tell you how much to put on, but just kind of, and then let that like kind of tenderize the meat a little bit, because if it sits at room temp, that's going to be better for us.
So put it just like in a
on a baking sheet or a cookie sheet or whatever you got.
Mother.
And if I get sort of like sidetracked or if I'm confusing you, just let me know or ask me questions, because I have a tendency to talk a lot, which is good, but also you can tell me to shut up too. That's fine. Okay, so the two things that I think are going to take the most amount of time, I mean, they'll be easy, but is you have, so you have fresh broccoli in the fridge, right? I saw broccoli florets. Okay. So what we're going to do, and I think it's totally up to you. I sent an email. I wasn't sure if you wanted to use the chicken sausage or not in that pasta. I think it would be really good in it. I just didn't know how much protein you wanted to eat, but if it was, you could always add that later and make the dish like kind of vegetarian for now and then add the sausage, because that stuff is already cooked, right? That's like the pre-done.
Yeah, from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, so that can be a game time decision because all you got to do is get it hot. You don't really have to do anything. But so for the broccoli, you're going to take the two of the heads and you're going to cut the stalks off, and then you're going to save the stalks though. So what I want you to do is you're going to cut the bottom of the stalk, just if it's a little brown or something, and then you're going to peel it and then cut it into like a nice like medium like dice.
All right, so now I'm getting the broccoli out.
Yep.
So essentially just like a small like floret of broccoli. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, grab two heads.
2 heads.
Yep, I'll just, you can hold them up to the camera, but I think 2 heads will be plenty. Yes, that's perfect.
I have a third if we need it.
You're only cooking for like 4 of you right now?
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll
just do all 3.
Because I'm not going to use it.
Because you can, anything that's, you're not going to use all of it, but then you can put it in the container and then you have it for tomorrow or whatever.
Okay.
Wait, Nick, let me just ask. So I'm seasoning, just so you know, I'm seasoning the flank with this.
Yep, just a little bit of on both sides, and then we're just gonna let that hang out.
Okay. Hang out.
So can you actually point your camera down a bit just so I can see? Perfect. Okay. So cut as much off as, try to leave all the florets and cut all the stalk off. Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
And then you can, if you want to cut a little bit more of the that stalk at the very top, that's perfect, just like that. Good.
Okay.
So what you're cutting off, afterwards, you're going to trim that up. It doesn't look like you're going to have to peel it. Actually, it's not that big.
So do you want it to look like this almost?
Yes.
Okay.
That stuff is going to look like that, and then the bottom part just leave as it is for now. So you're going to separate the two.
Okay.
Because we're going to make like a pesto with the tops, and then the bottom we'll dice up, and we're going to add it to the pasta later on.
Wonderful.
Because we don't want to waste anything. We're going to use the whole thing.
This is so much fun.
Yeah, this is good too, because I haven't obviously been working since March, because Italy's not doing any. Italy's kind of only open for grocery and to-go food. But I missed like doing I would do usually 6 or 7 cooking classes a week, and I haven't done it in a while. So this is sort of the next best thing for me anyway.
So now, which cooking classes do you do? I've actually looked into doing some of them.
All of them.
All of them.
So the only ones I don't do are if they're wine and cheese related.
Okay.
Or if sometimes they do pizza ones, but that's not me. That's like that's the pizza, that's Rosa Pomodoro. So that's the pizzeria guys. So they do that. But anything that goes on in the class, generally with food, is going to be me. So regional cooking classes or all that, anything. Pasta classes, very simple stuff. Hopefully, I'm obviously not going to be able to say, I don't know when we're going to be backing up and running, but when we are, I recommend doing it because it's a lot of fun.
What, when do they usually or typically are they scheduled? Like
not Sundays and Mondays. Sometimes they do wine classes and stuff on Sundays and Mondays, but those are when I'm not there. But other than that, I'll do 2 classes a day sometimes. But basically Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay. Now I'm going to be honest, I kind of stalked you. So it said that that you studied or like worked in Italy. So
Did you go, wait, well, I appreciate the stalking because that's good. But was it on my 0212 Eat account or was it on the Chef Gurski?
I think both.
Okay.
But you said that you worked for like next to nothing in Italian restaurants.
Yes.
I was just curious about that experience.
I worked in, so long story short, because I will make sure that you don't think I'm just some dude off the street here. So I worked in, are you in Boston or are you outside of Boston right now?
We're in Easton, 30 miles south of Boston.
But I work right on Boylston Street, so I go to Italy all the time.
Where do you work?
I work for Pearson Education Company, but we're in 501 Boylston, so right down the street. Like where
Nordstrom is?
Exactly, that's the same building.
So I worked for, some chef owners back in the day in the city. I mean, the restaurants aren't there anymore because it was a long time ago because I'm much older than you would think. But I worked in Florence. So I worked at a restaurant there basically, like I said, like as an apprentice. So I didn't really, they kind of paid me, but it was like, I think it was more out of pity because it was like €5 an hour. It was like no money basically. So I did that. And then I worked for some local Italian guys in Boston. Tony Susi used to have a restaurant called Sage. We're going back a long time. We're going back like 13, 14 years ago. So some local dudes. And then I really kind of got the bug after going to Italy. And then I worked for Mario Batali and Joe Bastianich for about 6 years. So I was with them in Vegas. And then I opened Italy. I opened Babbo at the Seaport. And then like I said, their properties in Las Vegas. And just kind of and then I was a chef at Bond at the Langham Hotel up until the Langham closed for renovations last year, actually. So I've been around, traveled and whatnot, but Italy was like a phenomenal experience. And
what part of Florence were you on the other side of the bridge?
Yes. So the restaurant, so I lived in the city, right next to Piazza Santa Croce. And
so I studied abroad in Florence and I lived on Ghibellina, which is right next to Santa Croce.
That's where I lived.
No way!
Swear to God.
Oh my God, we were 57 Ghibellina.
So I don't remember the address. It was across from a really expensive small hotel with Enoteca Pincheri. It was like a 3 Michelin star restaurant or something like that. So I wish I could remember the number. I mean, it's been so long.
That was further up, closer to like the city center. So it was probably like in the 30s.
I was right there. But the restaurant I worked at was across the river more. It wasn't like a touristy spot. It was like, there were no Americans there. It was just all local Italians. So that was more rewarding because I didn't really it's like if you were in Boston and you were working at like Faneuil Hall, it's not really the same, like, your neighborhoods aren't going there. It's all going to be tourists and whatnot.
Right.
And in Italy too, especially like, I don't know if you've been there a bunch, but like if you go out to a restaurant that has pictures of the food outside, like you don't want to go in there because that's or if they're doing spaghetti and meatballs or chicken parm, because that's not like Italian food. So I was fortunate to not work at those places.
Wow, that's so cool.
How did you handle the language? Like, do you speak Italian?
I don't know. I'm not Italian, which is really kind of ironic. But my kitchen Spanish was good enough that I could kind of have a conversation because Spanish and Italian are so similar.
Very comparable, yeah.
And there wasn't like no one spoke English in the restaurant. So like my chef didn't speak there was one cook that spoke broken English. But for the most part, I was kind of like with my own thoughts most of the time. I was there for about half a year. When I left, I could just finally start to understand, kind of comprehend stuff better. But my Italian's terrible. I mean, I know words and stuff, but I really don't know that much. My Spanish is much better. That's kind of what helped me survive, to be honest with you.
That's so cool. Did you ever go to the restaurant La Giostra?
So There was a couple restaurants in our neighborhood because we had a bunch of roommates. I lived in like a 16th century convent, and there was like 7 roommates, and they kind of would take us around and whatnot. But I only ate out a few times. Honestly, like I didn't have any money, and I was working 6 days a week, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
So my one day off, I just kind of like slept all day. Like, so that's the thing. I haven't been back since, and I want to go back as like a tourist, or I want to go back to like enjoy it, because I didn't really get to do that. And that's the thing. People thought it was like this like vacation and this wonderful thing, and it really like it was work. It was all work.
Wow, that's cool. What a nice experience. My God.
Yeah, I mean, I tell like any of my young cooks, I always tell them like, stop going to culinary school, save your parents' money, buy a plane ticket to Europe, and then just backpack and live and like explore. And you're going to learn a way more than you are than school's like ever going to teach you. But
I agree.
I'll get off my soapbox there for a second, you know. I've done that before in classes, and I can tell when there's like a kid who's like in culinary school, and as soon as I say it, like the parent is like, what? Because they're like, I spent how much money on this kid? And I was like, oh, that's fine. So you cut that broccoli up, right? I just wanted to, sorry, yeah.
The two.
So that the bowl is going to be, you can even get a pot of water on now if you want, but basically what we're going to do is that water you'll use to cook your pasta later. Do you know what blanching is?
I do,
Yeah,
but
put it in the cold water.
Correct. So you're going to cook that broccoli in boiling salted water for like 2 minutes.
okay.
And then you're going to take it out, and then you're going to put it in ice water.
Okay.
And then it's going to stop cooking, and it'll stay nice and green. But you can leave that water, you'll leave for the pasta. So don't worry about changing the water up.
Okay. Let me get it. So how big of a pot? Like, right?
You're going to cook, I think I saw you had a bag of orecchiette, which is probably like a pound of pasta. So a good size pot.
I'm going to do this size. I like a good size pot.
Yeah, that's perfect. The more water, the better. It's fine.
Yeah, I know it's only 1 pound, but. Now, as far as the broccoli goes.
Yes.
How much water? You boil the broccoli?
Yes. So when you blanch vegetables, well, same thing with pasta. Cooking vegetables in water and cooking pasta in water, you always want boiling water. So you want to, and the most important thing is making sure that you've salted it. That's totally up to you on how much you put in. But I always tell people, it doesn't have to be salty like the sea. Sometimes I think that's too salty. But if you were going to put in a gallon of water, like a couple tablespoons of salt, let's say that.
Okay. So I guess I'm just used to like steaming broccoli and the steam thing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that. You can just boil it and then blanch it.
You could steam it. I think this way we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because now you've got.
That's fine. Let's try it. Curious. I've never,
Yeah, you could totally steam it.
We're going to try something new.
Yeah. The thing with steaming too is that you're not really, when you're cooking it in the seasoned water, you're seasoning the vegetables. Steaming is more like definitely healthier, but it's not, you're not really going to get any flavor. It's just going to taste kind of bland.
Okay.
So salt, right?
Yep. Salt.
Okay. That's on.
So yeah, we'll wait for that to boil. Like I said, you're going to blanch the broccoli. So 2 minutes in there, ice water, just until it cools, and then you're going to take it out and just sort of drain it, because we're going to use like
a colander.
That's perfect. Yep, perfect. And we'll use like a food processor or something. You have we'll use that later to make the pesto.
Okay.
The end. Can you hold up the bowl with the end pieces?
So there's some leaves and stuff in there. Do you want me to?
You can just peel them off. It's not a huge deal. I mean, they're edible. But what we'll do with those is you can just cut them up into like, I don't know, like little, like this is why Zoom is kind of tough, because I'm like something like that big, like a little.
Like almost like a,
medium
base? Them tiny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like chop them evenly enough so that they cook evenly. But what we're going to do with those is when we cook the pasta later, when there's like 2 minutes left, you're going to dump those into the water with the pasta, because those will cook in the water. And then we'll have like some actual little like pieces of broccoli. And then the other stuff is going to be more like of a puree.
This is my favorite part of the broccoli.
And if you really wanted to, I saw that you had like the frozen broccoli in there. You can use that if you really wanted to, but if you have the fresh, it's better. So that's what we're gonna do.
I really use the fresh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so Mom, what did you do with the knife?
Which one?
The
I
one.
washed it.
Oh, all right. Just can I have that back?
Oh, what's that? What's steak?
Blank steak, honey.
Flank steak we're
Is that in
making.
there? Like,
Yeah,
I know.
this is cousin Josh's new venture.
Okay. Oh, this is stunning, so you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is perfect actually. I'm taking a picture if you don't mind. So
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
if I don't put it on Instagram, it never happened. You know what I mean? So I have to make sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, so little pieces, as long as they're somewhat even, just so that like they cook at the same time. So that's going on. You got the water on that's boiling. The pasta we're going to kind of do last second, obviously. Do you have a warm setting on your oven?
Warm setting?
Like, can you set it to like 170 degrees or something like that?
In the oven? So
Yeah, can you turn the oven on to like 175?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
Want me to put it on now?
Yeah, put it on now, because then what happens is if we happen to cook if you cook the steak first and we're still waiting for the pasta, you can just keep the steak warm in the oven.
Okay.
Because it's going to have to rest before you cut it anyway.
I have some good oven thermometer in there, so.
Well, what's the lowest degrees?
Well, I'm gonna make sure that stays low. Like, I'll check it. Make sure.
Because some, like my oven in my apartment has a warm, like a keep warm button. I don't know if yours does. Some do, some don't.
Yeah. No, ours is like the dial, see it over there?
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So it's hard to always, there's no digital like that reaches.
Yeah, you're on gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm jealous because I haven't had a gas stove in a while. Everything's all electric now, but gas is so much better.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is, but you have to have a thermometer in the oven because you're not always sure.
Sure.
The dial sometimes can be off on it. But for the stove top, it's blows it. I mean,
when we do the cooking classes at Italy, it's all induction burners because we can't have like open flame. So it's tough because people will be like, well, what setting is how hot is this at home? And I'm like, well, it depends because this is all like, everyone's stove, even gas stoves are so different. Like medium high for you is going to be like different for someone else. So you'll chop all those up. You might not need all of it. I'm just thinking about just to add something, a different dimension to the dish. Because we're basically, I was kind of doing a spin on it's from Puglia, but orecchiette with broccoli rabe and sausage is super classic. That's why I saw the chicken sausage in there. I thought would be good. But this is, again, a nice alternative because it's going to be vegetarian, which is a nice thing. Now, did you get, you have breadcrumbs, the panko breadcrumbs?
Yep, we have plain panko, yes.
Perfect. Is it toasted by any chance?
Light and crispy.
If you open it up, is it, because the only thing I would recommend with it, because we're going to use that, you'll sprinkle that on top of your pasta.
I don't
It's
think
nice and crunchy. It's not? Okay, that's good. So
I
what we'll do
I don't think so. I'm going to show it to
yeah, it's probably not. Let me see. No, it's not. Okay. So that's super easy. We're just going to later on, you'll just toast that in a pan with a little bit of olive oil, just till it's golden brown. Doesn't have to be, that's pretty much it. Okay, so the broccoli's there, the water's on. You have, and then keep that cutting board out when you're done because we'll do the, we'll cut up all the peppers for the vinaigrette as well.
Okay.
Want me to get them out?
Yeah, so you had the cherry peppers in there.
Yeah.
So we'll do those. And then above in your kitchen, were those were those mini bell peppers?
Yeah. We have a few left.
Perfect. Okay.
So when I was eating some last night, actually.
Bell peppers will be, how big are they? Oh, they're the little guys, right?
The little
babies.
Okay, we'll probably just use all of those then. That's perfect.
Yep.
The cherry peppers, we're only going to need 2. That all depends on your heat tolerance.
All right, so those up too. Oh, did you get the cherry pickles? Da-da-da.
Excuse me, Birdie.
So do you live in Boston?
I do. I live in East Boston.
East Boston.
So I've been, I lived in Southie for a very long time. And then like before, I don't know if you spent any time there, but like before like Lincoln, before all that stuff was there. And then it was sort of like became apparent. I don't know. I was kind of like outgrowing the neighborhood a little bit.
Yeah.
I sound like an old man, but it just wasn't really like our scene anymore. I live with my wife, and we were just sort of like, I don't know. It just wasn't. We felt like everyone was getting younger, and we were getting older, and it was just time to.
Yeah.
Leave
I'm actually moving out of Southie. I have an apartment there.
Where were you? In Southie?
It's very.
Well, just like for what we were paying, honestly, it was like a triple decker built in 1970. And we're kind of like, wait a minute, we could get a lot more and like brand new and maybe for a little bit more per month, but it's just like nicer. So we moved into one of like the bougie places on the water here, but like,
yeah,
I think it's worth it.
I do too.
Personally. So like a washer dryer and we have a washer dryer in our unit. We have like a roof deck. We didn't have any of that in Southie. And you're basically paying for a location. And that was like, we didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
that's essentially what I was doing too.
She was doing the same thing.
Well, especially like for me too, like when you're working in the city, it's great because like you could walk to work, you could walk home. Like I do miss that because you're kind of we're cut off here a little bit because we have the harbor, but it just became a thing where, we just didn't think we were getting any bang for a buck. And now it's a little better, even though Boston's still outrageous. But
Southie is just ridiculously out of control with the prices.
It's crazy. I mean, in hindsight, it's like, God, I wish I bought like 4 triple deckers there in the early 2000s and I could just retire.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up, Nick?
So I'm from Connecticut, right outside of Hartford. I'm from Manchester.
Yeah.
And I moved here in 2001. So I've been here a long time. I've been here longer than I've lived in Boston longer than I've lived in Connecticut now at this point. I moved up here to do City Year, actually, which is that it's an AmeriCorps program.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever see the guys in the kids in the red jacket and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did that when I was 18 because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, like a lot of 18-year-olds. So City Year was a great alternative because it still felt like it was better than like living in your parents' basement. Like you could you were doing something, and then I just kind of never left, and it was aside from, Vegas for a bit in Italy, but Boston has been home for a while. So those peppers, those are the ones, they don't really even have seeds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Perfect. You're just going to chop them up real small.
Real small?
Yeah. Like a small dice.
Okay.
Shot or not.
But the city is so different even from when I first moved here, it's just like the Seaport district. I remember when that was just like a parking lot, and now Boston's just out of control. It's really something.
Are you concerned about how everything's going to come back?
Yeah, I know like there's going to be restaurants there's already restaurants that aren't going to make it. I think that's going to get worse. I don't know. Cause it's like, I think, things are going to go back to normal. I just think by the time that happens, I just think it's just too much damage has been done, and I have like friends that not in the industry. I remember someone I talked to, he does like finance or whatever and, investing and stuff. And I asked him, like, I was like, what's like, do you hear rumblings like in what he does? I was kind of curious. And he said that the people that are his bosses that are like the really, really smart people, we're talking about Q1 in terms of things economically leveling off again or getting back to normal. So that's like January, so I don't think, it's terrible to say, but unless these restaurants get a lot of help from the government, they're just not going to make it. The margins are too small. Like you just don't make enough, the profits are like a good restaurant's going to run anywhere from like 3 to 9% profit. That's nothing.
Right.
So It's sad. But I don't know. It's weird. I have friends that are bartenders and they're like, I don't know if I can ever bartend again and make enough money to live. Because like, are people going to go out to bars the same way, or by the time things get back to normal, that could be 2 years from now or a year from now. And I just think, like I said, I don't know who's going to be around then, which is really, it stinks. There's no way to put it.
I know. I mean, I know this is really weird. Like when you say that about the bars and everything, like my daughter, she's single, right? A young girl, 20, almost 26. And like, I don't know how she's ever going to meet anyone. Like they're not going out anywhere.
You're going to be doing Zoom dates.
I know, that's going to be the new thing. I got to get ready for those. I'm practicing, right?
Yeah, it's going to be all Zoom dates all the time. Like, I don't know. My sister owns 2 restaurants on Block Island. So they just opened up for takeout recently, and Rhode Island has relaxed, like starting June 1st, they're doing a few things different, like patio and no mask seating and all that stuff. But like Brenna is her name, and they normally open in April. And she was saying, if they're behind 1 week opening, they're behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, and like, I don't know if their landlord's going to cut them a break. And the thing is, people don't understand the difference between a deferral in rent and then like a forgiveness. So if your rent's deferred, if you're an owner, that's great. But guess what? You still owe that money down the road. So that doesn't really help anyone. And I think with like, I'm on the PPE loan for Italy right now. So like I'm on payroll. But even that's kind of messed up for people because you have like, if I have a cook that's making $13 an hour, he's making more money on unemployment right now with the CARES Act.
Yeah.
And then you have to give him the option to take the paycheck loan, but if you don't take it, you have to resign, which means you can't collect. So it's kind of a mess. I mean, obviously, I'm sure, there's people in worse off positions, but I'm kind of just think we weren't really ready for it. No one was. And this is obvious, like, because no one knows what to do.
Yeah, it's amazing how the food service industry really took a huge hit.
I just picked up to-go food from our friend at this bar down the street, and I told him, I said, man, we used to be like recession-proof. Yeah. Bars, restaurants, like all that stuff, and now it's like, I don't know what's going to be left when it's all done, and that really stinks. So.
Yeah, I'm in the industry too. I'm a full distributor for dairy and ice cream. So I distribute throughout New England to all food service outlets like restaurants, hospitals, colleges, hotels, everything, like any type of place. And like I'm working on, I think we're doing right now that the ice cream shops are starting to open up, we're doing about 20% of our budget. I
was going to ask, like, did you see, like, was it like a 50% drop off, like right off the bat?
90%.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because I do a lot of like K-12 schools and colleges, and they just were shut down.
Sure.
Completely shut. Everything was shut. It was like, we have 7 people that I work with, and I'm one of 7 left. Like they're all on furlough.
That's wild. I mean, that's the thing. And I was fortunate. Like, my wife works remote, so thank God it was like kind of business as usual for her company, right? Like they were kind of, there wasn't like they haven't really been hit by it, which is great. But I don't know. I think about anyone that's remotely, if the hotel or the restaurant shuts down, that affects you, and it affects all these purveyors and these salespeople and everything. So it's amazing the reach that this has had. And
yeah, exactly.
Hopefully it's over.
Let's just check the water's coming along.
Does it taste, can you taste the salt a little bit? Is it a little seasoned?
Maybe need a little more.
Okay.
I don't know, you check it, bro.
I don't like things too salty.
You don't have to go crazy.
I'll just do a little bit.
So the peppers you have there, and then
the cherry peppers too.
The cherry peppers. Okay, start with like 2. Do 1 red one and 1 green one. I think that's probably going to be fine. You can take the other broccoli, get that out of there. You can put it in like a bowl or something like that.
Here, I got you. Yeah, right here.
Perfect.
Oh, sorry.
So you're going to do the same thing with the cherry peppers. You're going to just cut them, take the seeds out, and then chop them really, really small. And then if you want, because you have a bigger knife there, you can take your knife over all the peppers when you're done and just really give them a good whack and just try to kind of chop them up a bit.
Okay.
And all of that, once you do that, all of those peppers are going to go into a little bowl because we're going to make a quick vinaigrette with that.
Oh, I'm excited for the vinaigrette. What about the seeds, did you say? I'm sorry.
Take the seeds out.
Okay, you want to use this one to take them off?
So I'm not very fine-tuned with my skills here, but I get the job done.
Yeah, that's good. It can be, it's what I tell people, it's rustic. Okay, we're cooking rustic food.
I love that. That's so beautiful. This is
That's the beauty of like kind of Italian food, you know, is it doesn't have to be like super fancy here. There we go. And then you got
and then you could chop them up like how?
Pretty small.
Okay.
So if you want like, yeah, I would do that and then cut it into strips. You can kind of press it. Yeah, there you go. Cut it into strips. And then once you have the strips, pile them up the other way and then start cutting you can start to dice them up. There we go. And I just saw they canceled the Boston Marathon officially too. First time ever.
Can you believe it? This whole thing is just terrible.
Yeah, I hope that by the end of the summer we're kind of better, but who knows?
Oh, well, we can just think hopeful. I'm hoping for a Labor Day weekend to have a little bit of a normal weekend.
Yeah, I was hoping for July 4th, but I think it realistically will be, yeah, I think by then it'll be good. Well, we went like, my in-laws live in the Cape, and we just went there for a few days because we hadn't left our apartment in like 3 months, so we had to get out of the house. And, you know, when you're outside of the city, like even like in Easton, like the city is where we really felt it more. Like I talked to my parents, they in suburban Connecticut, my dad's kind of like, the routine's the same for him. He's like, it's not really any different, you know?
Oh, really?
Well, because they don't do much. Like they don't really go out a lot. So
That's what you mean, yeah.
it's kind of like,
wait, right.
yeah, it's sort of like they have a nice back deck. They hang out outside. They don't really, they have neighbors over and everyone stays 6 feet apart. Like they don't really, like for speaking for myself, most of my social life revolves around going out in the city. And when you can't do that, you're kind of like, well, you know, you're Zoom calling people a lot.
Yeah, when this all happened, because she's working remotely too, she came home here just because she had more space and
Exactly
in the backyard, and you know her apartment is a little small and then tiny, and there's other people, and she's still working pretty seriously remotely, and she could be distracted. So it was better for her to come here and just kind of set up shop here for her.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, we're like, our place is under 500 square feet. You know, so once you can't leave, you're like, oh my God, like you're tough. And like I kind of forgot in the beginning, like Beck would be working on some office call and I would forget and I'd come out in my robe to make an espresso. And I'm on like in the background of like the Zoom call or something.
Well, I just came like to her a couple times and she'd be like, I'm on a call.
Yeah, like I'm working
I'm
right
like,
now.
oh, I didn't know.
Okay, so I chopped these up and put them in a bowl. They're pretty
nice and tiny. All right, how about this? Take those out.
I want you to take it out.
even tinier.
Yes, and then take those yellow peppers and then put them all into a pile and then do like pretend this, all right, I'm holding the knife like this and then do the kind of just give it a good quick chop.
Hold it together.
Okay.
You don't have to, keep going. And then if you want, take the hand that you would put that hand on top of the knife. You can kind of, there you go.
There we go.
Just don't chop your fingers off.
Gotta learn.
Yep, nice and small. And then you'll do the same thing with the yellow peppers for another minute, and then you'll just put them back in the bowl.
So my oven is at 200. Should I lower it?
You know what? Leave it at 200, and then what we'll do is when it's time to cook the steaks, we're just gonna shut it off.
Okay.
Because I just wanted the steak to kind of have a place to hang if you needed to keep it warm. We might not even need to do that, but perfect. And then yeah, do that with the yellow peppers and you're good. It can be like a little chunky, that's fine. So like I said, the main focus here is going to be the pasta and then this vinaigrette we're making. I had mentioned in the email too about doing something with the cauliflower. You had like frozen
Riced cauliflower?
So I don't know what that looks like. I was envisioning like if you took a couple cans of those potatoes you have, I think it said you have sliced potato.
Oh yeah, they would like that better.
So I was thinking if you did that mixed in with the cauliflower and you did kind of like a mash with it, and then instead of doing butter and milk, you could add some of the Greek yogurt and some of the feta.
Oh, I like that.
And that's something I just thought that's pretty straightforward. It's basically like making mashed potatoes. I figured if you added the canned potato, that would kind of give it a little bit of body, because I don't know what the riced cauliflower is going to look like.
Okay.
So just what he's saying is combine them so that,
Yeah.
Okay, I like that idea too.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the potatoes you'll get more out of it, because I bet you once you heat up that cauliflower or cook it, it's probably not going to be that much, I would guess. And then, you would just add a couple spoonfuls of the yogurt and then like some black pepper and the feta. I thought that would be, it's not very Italian, but it sounds good.
So you want me to open up the potatoes?
Yeah, I mean, those are like, if they're already sliced, I can't imagine they would take that long to cook.
No, they're very thin.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so I bet if you got the potatoes on with that riced cauliflower in a pot with like a little bit of water, just until the potatoes soften, like that's it. Then all you got to do is mash them up.
Okay.
That one's pretty simple. I didn't, I threw that in last minute here. All right, so your peppers, gonna combine everything together.
So
Did you do that? No,
Yep.
you got to do the same thing on that.
I
one.
did. I was just doing a
Oh, I didn't see.
Perfect.
little more. Put them in the bowl.
With the cherry peppers.
Okay.
So that's gonna go in there. And then, so to make a vinaigrette, like we'll just do a basic ratio 3-to-1. So let's say you did, start with like 3 tablespoons of olive oil and then a tablespoon of like red wine vinegar.
Okay. Red wine, red
Perfect.
oil.
Yep.
And then we'll get a tablespoon.
So Nick, I'm heating up, cooking the potatoes
Correct.
with the cauliflower.
Yep.
So I'm draining the potatoes because they're
Yeah, drain the potatoes. Yeah, exactly. Cook it, and then you're just gonna treat it like a mashed potato, where we'll just kind of mash them up in that pot later.
So 3-to-1.
Yep. So 3 of those, 1 vinegar. We'll add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, and then I think you should have fresh basil somewhere.
We do?
Okay. Grab like a couple leaves. We don't need a lot, but you're just gonna chop up a bunch of, let me see what you got. Yeah, grab like 2 big leaves. We'll start with that.
Oh, I love the smell of fresh basil.
Oh, good.
You know what? I think I'm gonna start getting the plants from Trader Joe's. I heard those ones are good.
I've never done it. We tried growing stuff before. Actually, in Southie we had a deck, but they always just like, I don't know. I'm a terrible plant father. I just neglect them.
You know, chop them finely, or
you can, however you want. So you can do either like a really thin, like chiffonade, or you can just chop it up. It's up to you. I'm not going to be particular about that.
what's the chiffonade?
So that's when you take your, all right, so take your leaves, then you roll them up really tight. So stack them on top of each other.
Right.
Start at the end, like and then pinch them and then roll like as tight as you can. This is a fancy French thing. Then,
The chiffonade.
yes, and then you're gonna use your knife and you're gonna just try to do like really thin, like hairs. Like you're just gonna cut it straight down, these really tiny hairs.
Oh, I love this. I know exactly what this is. It's like when they put it on top of paparazzi.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So then take that basil, throw it into the cherry pepper thing, season it up a little bit, and then just let it hang out and just let it sit. And then if you want to add more basil, we can, but what you'll just do is you're going to have to kind of give it a taste. But I think to start, that's probably good. But yeah, just give it a little mix. Do you think it needs more oil and vinegar?
I think Maybe a little.
Yeah, go ahead. You can adjust for. Obviously, it's gonna be hard for me to see, but I would think maybe add like.
It's a little thick. I think it needs just a tiny bit.
Do 2 more tablespoons of oil and then a little bit more vinegar.
Okay.
And then again, if you add some salt, that'll draw out a little moisture too. That'll give us a little bit more liquid.
Give me the salt now.
Yep, 2 oil, perfect. And then just let it sit. A little seasoning, mix it up. Done.
This looks wonderful.
So the basil, like I said, if we want to do more, we can do more. But for now, I think we'll let it kind of just hang out. Perfect. See? Chiffonade. There we go. We're big fancy. All right, so yeah, let that just chill. How is your water doing on the stove?
Okay, Mom, how's everything going over there?
The water is boiling.
Great. So let's throw the broccoli in.
I have the potatoes starting to get on the stove to cook. Okay, so broccoli, 2 minutes in the boiling.
Yeah, just for a couple of minutes. We make sure it's nice and bright and green, and then we're gonna put it into the cold water. You can even just run put it in the sink and just run cold water over it if you want to.
No, don't know.
Grab some garlic,
Okay.
like whole garlic if you have.
Got it.
What's that there?
I need you to grab the processor too.
And the food processor. Yep.
So
Just like
the food processor is downstairs in the pink bin in the storage room. Can you go grab that for me, please?
That sounds like a
Thank
process in itself.
So now, how do I do? I've never dealt with whole garlic.
Okay, so peel it off of. Take a clove out of there, so you can just rip. They're all like individually kind of. Yeah, just like to rip it. You can.
Show me, Mom. I've never done this before. I use the mint. This is wonderful. So this must be exciting for you to do on a Friday night.
You know, there's worse things I could be doing. Trust me, there's worse things. I mean, it's like the big thing too is that like the weather's finally gotten nice. So it's now we can like go outside. So where we are in Eastie, there's another building that's like next to us, and they do live music on Fridays now, where they have like a band out there. So we've just been bringing like a cooler, and we just sit outside by the water and like listen to music. So it's really not that bad.
That's really
All right,
nice.
you got the garlic. Okay.
How many did you say?
So start with. You're gonna need 2, let's say.
Right.
And then you don't have to peel it. Do this. Take your knife. So put the garlic on the cutting board, and then take the big knife.
Oh, sorry.
All right, then the flat. Yes, do it a little bit closer to the heel of the knife so you have more surface area, and then give it a quick whack.
I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, and then it pops open. There you go. And then that's okay if you broke it because it doesn't matter. We're not gonna.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit, no problem.
And then so you're gonna do that with 2 cloves of garlic. Give them just like a really quick chop. We're gonna put that in the food processor for the pesto.
Okay.
This
is gonna be so much fun.
This will be good. So start with, you know what? Let's do. Yeah, let's do 2. 2 cloves is fine.
Sure, I can do a third.
You're gonna need some more garlic for the steak, but we're not gonna have to.
We have 2 of them, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so you have your garlic there. That's for the first stuff. You have grated cheese.
Yeah, we have grated cheese.
Okay.
We have Parmesan and Romano.
Pecorino. Let's do that. Actually, let's do Parmesan, and then we'll use Pecorino later.
So now I'm going to take the water, but I'm not draining it.
Keep the water. Yep.
Right.
Okay.
As much of it as you can.
So now we have the garlic chopped up.
So throw that into. You can leave it in, once the food processor gets up here. We're going to throw all that stuff in the food processor.
Okay.
You'll need that. You'll need the pecorino. We'll need olive oil, which you already have, and we'll need a lemon. Grab 2 if you have it.
We do.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so we have the lemon, the garlic, the oil,
Mm-hmm.
and we need the Parmesan. Jack, can you give me the Parmesan, please? It's in the drawer. Perfect. So this isn't my first time using this big one. the big, can you see the food processor?
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's perfect.
Like, this was a gift,
Nice.
a hand-me-down from my Nana.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's huge. That'll be perfect.
But we don't know how to use it, though. But we need your help.
You should, well, is it plugged in?
It's plugged in.
It should, and then where the handle is, that should all line up, right? And like click.
But there's no blade in it. I just wanted to know why Blanch the Broccoli. Oh yeah, bro, we need that, right?
How to get this in here?
This is where we're having a little bit of a learning curve.
That's okay.
I need a manual on that thing.
Oh, turn it off. Okay, something.
Okay. This is Brett.
What's up?
He's my younger brother. He's 4 years younger than me. He's gonna be a pilot one day.
Nice.
Well, he's already a pilot, but for the small planes.
For like little like Cessnas and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I took flying lessons in Vegas once. My wife got him for a gift. I was like terrified. The instructor at the time, I swear he was like 17.
That's what his class is now, is to be an instructor.
Yeah, he was young.
He's 21.
Oh.
All right, give it a pulse, Brett.
This.
Is it broken?
Oh gosh.
Did Nana give us a broken
hold
one?
on. I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a on.
There's got to be like a safety.
What's this button?
Dad knows safety stuff on tools.
You know what? I have an idea.
What is the idea, bro?
Ready?
Oh, we got it. Yay.
Perfect.
I hear noise.
So what's wrong?
So you know what? So sometimes with these, the handle has to be facing a certain way because it's going to press down like something that's going to like it's going to like have a safety.
Oh, I see. So put it down this way.
This
Yeah.
piece.
Yep. It's
Yeah,
in.
there you go. And then put the blade. The blade has to be on.
Oh yeah, the blade's not on.
Which blade? This
Before you
one?
even put
In
your
the
hand
middle.
in.
The whole family here.
This is the
right
most beautiful content that you guys could use.
I know. I should videotape this and be like, this is what I did. We put together a food processor.
This
We
is
didn't
a
actually eat
A
anything.
whole
Not only did we cook, but we learned how to use
We even
equipment.
show the dog. We even have the dog sitting here.
Isn't he cutie?
Oh.
Do we have any
I said
idea?
we're the perfect family to do this because we don't care about anything.
So that what he just put on is like a cheese grater. We don't need that.
All right, so
Okay.
take that off.
And then that, yeah, just put that down until it should like fall right down, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that-
All right. That now I think we should be in business. Then that
this
should have a
piece is
latch.
gonna line up right like this. Now,
Yes.
I have.
There you go. Now we're good. No?
But it's
No?
it's in the area of the
Hold on.
safety piece, but it's not. It's not engaging.
I'll just have
Maybe I should plug it in.
Oh God.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yay. Okay, so what is going in the processor?
Okay. So the broccoli is going to go in the blanched broccoli, the cooked broccoli,
Not the stems.
not
that's
your
going
raw
in
broccoli.
first.
Nope.
Alright.
We just want to make sure it's been drained a little bit so you can get it out of the water and make sure it's not like super wet. Do you have a zester or no?
A zester, yes, we have a zester. Mom, in the top drawer underneath you.
So what I was going to say is if you wanted to, we'll kind of do two things at once here. You can take some of those breadcrumbs and we'll put them into like another, yeah, that's perfect. How fine is that?
Use the small size.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Oh,
So
I might have another one.
I think that'll be okay.
You guys do your thing. I'll try to find it.
He's gonna try to find it.
Grab like, I don't know, like a cup or two of the panko
Okay.
and just put it into like a little saute pan or something. We're going to toast it up.
We're gonna toast this up.
So I want you to grate the lemon zest into the breadcrumbs first.
So
So
what we're gonna do is take the small pan that we use for the eggs, which is clean in the dishwasher, with a little bit of lemon zest, and you're gonna toast it on the the stove.
Just like you would, like, you know, you can add a little olive oil, just golden brown. But I want to add the,
yeah, like
yes.
a little pan.
But we're going to grate the lemon zest into the pan too with the breadcrumbs.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry.
All right, no worries. All right, so here I go with the broccoli and the garlic.
Let's see this. You can take this whole thing out too, but I don't think you can turn on the thing.
All right, just give me 1 second.
In goes the garlic.
Yep. And then add your broccoli in there.
I'm gonna make it so beautiful. This can chop the ice right out.
All right, so we got.
Start with like half of it. I want to see. I don't want to put all of it in.
Okay. And you can see what I'm doing, right?
Yep.
Right, you might just need to turn the.
So Nick, I'm putting 2 cups of panko, you said?
Right in there, and then we're gonna take the and then you can. That's enough broccoli for now, I think. We'll wait. Then you're gonna add your breadcrumbs in there. Yep. And then we're gonna grate the lemon zest into the pan with the breadcrumbs. And then perfect, just like that. That's plenty.
And then so in the pesto is the broccoli, the garlic. I'm gonna put a little bit of oil.
Don't add the oil yet. After your mom's done grating the lemons, you're gonna cut the lemons in half and add the lemon juice to the pesto.
Okay, great. So I'll wait for that.
There you go.
Down when you want to turn it on.
This way we're kind of using the whole lemon because the zest is really great and people always throw it out, and we're gonna try to utilize everything here. Perfect.
How much do I do? The whole lemon?
Do a whole lemon. That's plenty. We'll just do 1 lemon. And then you can, with the breadcrumbs, just add a little bit of oil and just toast them until they get brown. Keep an eye on them, just till they're golden brown.
Look lower that over there.
I feel like I'm learning so much today.
I know.
Now you said the lemon juice of both lemons is going to go in the pesto, correct?
Correct. So you'll cut them in half like that. Obviously we don't want to get the seeds in there, but then
I'm going to get the juicer out.
That's perfect.
Can I just step in here for 1 second? We need to get one of those ones where you don't have to turn it.
Don't we have one?
I thought I was using this.
What?
No, you were supposed to use this for that.
Oh, well, it's fine. We have plenty of lemons.
That's good.
It's a
lot of zest.
Perfect. Yeah, that's good. Just the yellow part is plenty.
that good?
Yeah, that's perfect. And then you just want it to, I would add a little bit of fat, I'd add a little oil to that, and then just toast it on the stove till it's brown. You have to kind of keep an eye on it, but like, that's it. Very simple.
A little oil?
A little bit, yeah. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That's probably good.
All right, and the lemon juice is going in.
Lemon juice is in. Okay, so now you're going to turn the food processor on as you slowly add your olive oil to it.
All right, try that to your job.
I'm not touching the olive oil. I'd rather just, I told you,
Alright.
you
Alright.
do the olive oil like this.
All right, ready? Go.
Hold on, we're having technical difficulties.
Ready to put it down. There we go. All right, you have to keep.
Okay.
Oh, I know why. Is it locked in?
Yeah.
Well, I just need a little more.
No. It's not locked in.
Listen, just trust me. Just trust me. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Go ahead, add like half a cup or so. That's good. Keep going. And then pulse it while you're doing it. Is it chopping up at all? I can't really tell from there.
Yeah,
It is.
it's getting smooth.
Okay, good. So what we can do, is it the consistency look like, is it thick or is it pesto-y in the consistency, or like is it soupy?
It's a little thick.
Thick. Okay. So we're going to be doing more. We'll add some more oil. I just wasn't sure if we want. Does it look like there's enough room for all of the broccoli?
Oh yeah. Should we put more in? Let's do more.
You can use it all, because anything that you don't use tonight, you'll just put in the fridge and it'll be fine. So you'll add some more oil just until you get like it kind of starts to come together a bit. We're not going to add the cheese until you're afterwards. If we add cheese in a food processor, it gets too hot and it'll get like oily and it'll break. So you're just going to add the cheese after that's done.
A little more oil. One. Got it?
I'm on this.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, this is looking much better.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna add a little more lemon juice.
Sure.
Am I still holding this down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do both. We want to do both lemons.
Okay.
And then I think that will be good. I don't want to add too much more oil to it. Once you add the juice, give it like another 5 seconds in the processor, and then we can take it out and transfer it to like whatever, Tupperware or some type of bowl, because I just want to add the cheese to it out of the machine.
Okay. Lemon juice in. I think I'm toasted.
Okay, so you can just take them off. You can put them into a bowl or something. That's it.
You want to look?
Yeah, let me see.
A little more.
Yeah, more.
Hold on, I want to get Yep, I'm just gonna do this, Brett.
Perfect. Now, we're gonna add cheese to this, but we are gonna probably want to season it. I don't know if we've really added any salt, so you're gonna taste it and see if you want to add salt. That's totally up to you. But once you have it out, we'll put all that into like some type of vessel, whatever you want, whatever bowl you got is fine.
All right, he's gonna do that just so it's fixed up one more time, because there was a little garlic piece of stuff.
Sure.
And then,
Perfect.
Mommy, that's the bowl. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. So once the broccoli is in that bowl, just use a spoon or something. We'll start with like half a cup of cheese, and you're just gonna mix that in. Just fold it in with like a rubber spatula or something like that.
Okay.
All right, now I'm having difficulties.
I just want to get a better bowl.
Oh, there's a spatula right there too on the counter. I see it.
Oh yeah.
Right behind you. Yep. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay.
Why is this like 1,000 degrees for a spatula?
It just came out of the dishwasher.
Oh, okay.
Okay, perfect.
I didn't even get to redo it.
There we go.
Cool.
Okay. Now, you said put it in the bowl and fold in the cheese, right?
Yep. Exactly. And then you'll taste it. If you feel like you want to add salt. Obviously, I can't taste any of this food, so it might need salt. It depends.
It's delicious. Okay. And now I think I'm toasted.
Golden brown there, toasty on the crumbs. Perfect. And then what I would recommend is when you're ready to transfer it, don't let it sit in the pan, because the pan's still hot. So if it thinks it looks good, it could potentially burn if it sits in the pan. So you just put that into a bowl or something like that.
And now, how much cheese did you say in here?
Start with like, because we're going to add more cheese to the pasta. I would start with let's do a cup of cheese because we did a lot of broccoli.
Okay.
There's your toasted.
Wonderful. Looking marvelous.
Cool. So yeah, we'll do that. And then that made like a ton. So you're going to have a bunch left over because we're not going to use all of that, obviously.
Holy time. Tastes delicious too.
And what you could do with that, I mean, I don't know if you have a lot of Tupperware, like pint containers and stuff in your kitchen, but whenever I do stuff like this, I make a lot and then I'll just freeze it. And then when I want it, I take it out and then I have it. So
freeze it. That's smart. What do? You said freeze it.
Freeze what?
The pesto, because if you're making certain things and you know,
Oh.
then you, like this, you could freeze. We don't use the whole thing. Okay.
try to really try to really give it a good mix. And you can always add more oil if you think it's going to need it.
Incorporating.
Okay, so we have the cherry pepper vinaigrette that's done. We have the little broccoli pesto thingy going here. Is our pasta water boiling?
No, you want me to turn it back on?
Let's turn it on. Yep.
Yep. Sorry.
Perfect.
I don't think I need more. You know.
Wait, so the pasta water, the water that was boiling with the broccoli,
Yeah.
does that add flavor to the pasta or something?
Well, it's normally I wouldn't do it, but since we're going to be eating like a broccoli pasta anyway, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like the water can be used for multiple times.
I think mashing the cauliflower and the.
Yeah, so with that one, if you just want to like drain it and then have it kind of just chill and stay warm, that's going to be a last set. You just add that. You'll do that at the very end. That's going to be 2 seconds.
All right. Whoop. So
Okay.
that's all folded. I think that the cheese is good.
Okay. So I'll walk you through the last couple things here. So obviously we'll wait for our pasta water to boil. We'll cook the pasta when the time comes. We can get our pan for the steak. We can start to heat that up and get that warm. Can you put the bag of orecchiette, what does the cook time say on that?
Right.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
For al dente, 2 to 3 minutes.
Really?
Really?
Wait.
Did I read that right?
No.
Everybody said, really?
Does it say 12 minutes?
Hold on. Al dente 11.
Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Where the heck did I see 2?
I want to do this now.
So
There's a weird direction on that.
I'll give you this is what I would do if I was teaching my cooking classes right now. I'll give you my quick spiel. So when we're cooking the pasta, usually it's super important that you cook the pasta usually like a minute less than the bag tells you to, because you want to cook the pasta in the sauce afterwards. So you don't want to overcook your pasta that way. Because like if we were making like a tomato sauce or like a ragu, you cook your pasta, but then it has to go back in the sauce and kind of cook and become one thing. Mm-hmm. Since this is like kind of like a pesto-y type of one, we're going to cook it pretty much exactly like the bag says though, because we're not really going to we don't have like a sauce necessarily for it. But what I want, so if that says 11 minutes al dente. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. So we'll stick to 11 minutes. When we set a timer to cook the pasta, when it gets down to 3 minutes,
yeah,
we're going to add that chopped broccoli into the water.
Okay.
With the pasta. Now, the really important thing is that you do have to make sure that water is seasoned. So taste it and don't be shy with the salt. Because if you cook pasta in unsalted water, it's going to be bland. So we don't want to do that. So you'll have that going. Once the pasta is in the water too, I want you to take out like a cup or two, let's say 2 cups to be safe, of pasta water. Because we're going to need that water to help like adjust our sauce and whatnot. So you have And what we'll do is, when you drain the pasta, we'll just use that pot that you're cooking it in. We'll just use that to mix it up with the pesto or whatever. And
Okay.
call it a day. Because a pound of pasta is a lot. I mean, that's going to be plenty for 4 people.
We're big eaters over here.
Good.
We love food.
I always cook at least a pound, and I'm only cooking for 2 people, but I know I'm going to have it I could eat pasta. Like if I found out tomorrow I was gluten intolerant, it would like devastate me.
Me too.
It would be like the worst.
So just to recap. So we have the pasta water going to a boil.
Yep.
And the broccoli pesto is done. The vinaigrette is done. The toasted panko breadcrumbs.
Yep.
The ends of the broccoli are ready to go in the pasta in the last 3 minutes.
Yep.
Also, the cauliflower potato mash is loose but keeping warm on the stove.
That's fine. Is it drained? Is there water in it or no?
There's no water.
Okay. What does it look like? I'm just curious.
It looks kind of like mashed potato.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so just keep that like warm on the stove, and then when you're ready to eat is when you're gonna add your yogurt and your feta and like black pepper or salt, whatever you want to do. But don't add the yogurt until it's off the heat because it'll break, and you know what I mean? So right before you're ready, you'll just kind of mix it all in. So that can just sit in the back and hang out. Now the pan to cook the steak, is that on the heat?
It's going on in a minute.
Perfect.
Going now.
Is that a non-stick pan?
Is that a non-stick?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. We'll still add just like a little splash of oil to it. But if it's non-stick, that's fine.
Okay. Dash it on.
Good. So you're going to need some rosemary.
Got the rosemary.
Yep, like just a few sprigs.
Now take it off the...
No, leave it like just the stem.
Okay.
A couple cloves of garlic. They can be, you don't even need to peel them. They can just be like the actual clove with the skin on it. You can just smash it, but that's fine. We're not going to eat it. Yep, just like that. Just do a few cloves. And then some butter. Like maybe, 2 or, so let's say you're doing 2 steaks. Let's cut 4 tablespoons into literally individual cubes. You know what I mean? So cut like each tablespoon individually. You see how it has the markings on there?
Yeah, so it's just 4 you said?
Yeah, I cut 4 of those. We might not use it all, but
all right, so we got 4 cut. We got the 2 little cloves of garlic and some sprigs of rosemary.
Yeah, how much rosemary you got? Let me kind of see. Sorry.
A whole package.
Yeah, you're only gonna need like 2 or 3 sprigs.
Okay, just put it in the pan all together.
No, don't put it in the pan. Put it next to the pan on that counter where the coffee machine is. Yep, right there. Perfect. Basically, what will happen is we want that pan. You added your oil to it. We want it to get just to smoking. You know, we want to get it pretty hot.
Okay.
I might have to put the vent up a little higher if we're gonna get smoky hot.
We got I think the steak will fit. We'll have to do one at a time, but I think it'll fit.
I don't know.
The small one will.
Yeah, I think you need a little more oil.
Well, you're putting butter in too.
Oh.
That's okay. The butter's only going to baste it. We're not going to cook with it. So you can do the oil. That's fine. Perfect.
All right, wonderful.
So once the pan looks hot and we've got the oil going, I don't know, what do you want? Like medium high right now or something?
Yeah, about medium.
Okay.
And now I'm going to boil the pasta too. So I'm going to boil it.
Okay, yeah, wait until once it's boiling, you'll add the pasta because I'm trying to time it so that I think we might all be so we're all kind of ready at the exact same time here. Just make sure you have a timer going for the pasta, or I can have one actually too. That might be better. So I can.
I have a timer too, so.
Perfect. All right, so we said 11 minutes though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you just tell me when you want me to put it in now?
I'll let you know when to drop it.
Okay. Great.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. This is going to be very intense.
Okay, now we're going to focus, and I had 2 glasses of wine.
What are you looking for?
The knife to open the bag.
The knife. This is our.
I don't want to have to go all Gordon Ramsay here. You know what I mean? And just start smashing things and yelling. So I'll just tell you now what you're gonna do when the pan gets hot for the steak.
Okay.
You're gonna, did you say you're gonna have to cook one at a time?
One at a time.
Okay, that's fine.
So now should I use 2 of the things of butter for one and then 2 for the other? Okay.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So basically what you're gonna do is once we put the steak in, you want to make sure that it's like sizzling, like we can really hear it, but don't touch it once it's in the pan. Let it like just sit there. You know what I mean? And we don't want so keep it like on a nice medium high, but we want to get a nice sear, but don't just leave it once it's in the pan because we're only going to cook it for like 3 minutes.
Okay.
When you flip it over, and I'll tell you when to flip it over because I'll just keep an eye on my timer. When you flip it over, that's when you're going to add your butter and some garlic and rosemary. And then you're going to grab like a spoon and just start spooning the bulk of butter on top of the steak. Okay. But yeah, don't be afraid to get that pan. Is that smoking now or is that just the zoom? I can't really tell.
Seems like it's getting hot.
Okay. If you just drop one of the steaks, can you hold the steak and like just put like the end of it in? Tell me if it starts to sizzle.
Okay.
Well, I can turn the heat up a little. I didn't want the oil to burn.
Yeah.
All right, let it go. Just put it in there.
Great.
So keep your heat on, what is it on? High? Medium high?
Medium.
Yeah, blast it up a little bit.
Blast it up.
Good. Yeah, let it go. And then just let it sit. Because if you touch it, it won't brown. So we just want to let it just kind of sit and do its thing and get nice and hot. There you go. And then I'll tell you when to flip it.
I mean, we're having steak, aren't we?
All right,
so it's in. So just let it, just don't even move it right. But it's definitely like, you can hear it. It's going,
Yep, it's sizzling.
Good. So we'll let that cook for another 2.5, 3 minutes, and then we're going to flip it. I'll tell you when.
do you want to be in charge of the garlic oil and rosemary and basting it?
You can be the based guy if you want.
Sure, I can be the basting guy.
All right, great.
Okay.
Here's a spoon to baste. And then,
And I'm just waiting for the pasta, right?
Yes, I'll tell you when to drop the pasta.
Oh, I will.
all right, so. We're getting some pictures, yeah.
Josh wants lots of pictures.
So
How's that vinaigrette? Is it like kind of loosened up? It's sitting at room temp, right? It's like
yeah,
loose?
it's looking good.
Good. Cool.
When's that other stuff go in with the steak?
He's gonna let you know in probably a minute or so.
Yeah, 1 more minute, I think, and then we'll flip it. I just want to make sure that it's getting a little brown. We can use that cookie sheet or where the steak's on. If we can give it a quick wipe, but we'll transfer the cooked steak onto that sheet, and then it'll rest because we don't want it has to rest, so we want it to like kind of hang out. You can shut the oven off.
The oven off, Dave?
Perfect.
How's your laptop charged?
Let's see.
I'm gonna be basting.
Okay, so how is the steak? Can you just give it a little peek underneath? Is it developing any color? Oh, there we go. Now we're talking.
Oh, we got color.
Okay, good. So flip it.
Flip it.
Yep. And then lower your heat down to like medium.
To medium?
Yeah.
Medium.
And then add a couple tablespoons of that butter right in the pan. And then add a little rosemary stem.
Yep, that's perfect. Yep.
And then add some garlic, like a clove or 2 of the garlic.
Yep, you don't have to undo it. He said you can
throw it right in there. Okay, actually add a little more butter and turn your heat
butter.
Butter?
Yeah, add more butter. Why not? Screw it. Good. And then hold okay, so are you lefty or righty? Good. All right, so hold the pan and then give it a little bit of an angle down towards you so the butter drips towards you. There you go. And then as the butter comes down to the pan, you're going to baste the top of the steak. Yep. And turn your heat up a bit too. So don't be afraid. I think we're good at like medium high.
Just turn it up?
Yeah, turn it up a little bit. And then if you feel like you need to add some more butter, go ahead and add more butter.
Yeah, I do want a bigger spoon.
Grab the one right there. We're putting in more butter.
Add more butter if I
Yeah,
want.
add more butter.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
There we go. So now you got the heat from the bottom of the pan is cooking the bottom part, and then you have some hot butter that's going to start to kind of keep cooking the top of the steak. That's the idea.
I feel like Gordon Ramsay right now.
There you go. Smells good, yeah?
Yeah, it's smelling delicious.
Okay.
Wait, Mom, will you hold the computer? Because I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
I can hold it.
No, you hold it. What I'm gonna do is get another baking sheet so we can put that on so we can put it in the oven.
All right.
So you're
Put
going
it right on the same baking sheet.
No.
You can
Oh,
engage,
don't do it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I didn't know.
get the rosemary like right on top of the steak
Get
too.
the rosemary
Kind of like
on
get it
top,
like
yeah.
sitting on top of it.
Like tasting it.
There you go.
Ronnie, you want a job?
Okay, so
What about that garlic? Should I put that on top of the?
Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Yeah, it's going to get infused in there, so I think you're good.
Better make-
So we're going to do that for 1 more minute.
You can't.
It's hard for me to tell how thick that is because I can't
It's
really.
pretty thick.
Yeah. So
About an inch, maybe a little more.
okay.
About 1.25 inches.
Okay. Because like I said, since it's flank, I would really rather that we undercook this because like I said, anything over medium is going to be like shoe leather. So let's do this for another minute and then we're going to transfer it to a pan and we'll put it in the oven for a bit and let it just kind of hang out.
oh, it's gonna go in the warm oven.
Hey, baster.
Do you want to flip that steak for me so I can look at the other side?
Oh, we're stuck.
Okay, so let's baste that one for about a minute and I think we'll be good.
Nick, I'm in charge of pasta.
Okay, so let's do the pasta now. Let's drop it.
You have the timer?
I have the timer.
Okay, throw it in.
Perfect.
What's that wine, dude?
Good. Okay, so you can transfer the steak to that cookie sheet that's behind you, and then what we'll have to do though is kind of dump that stuff out, and then we're gonna have to cook the other steak.
He has a new cookie sheet. It's right next to Brennan's last. You want a clean one, right?
Yeah, you can do a clean one if you like. It's just something that's gonna have to go in the oven because we'll keep it
Got
warm.
a clean one ready. This is so
I need more butter.
ironic. He was on Insta for a second.
That's all
He thinks he's gonna make it to Bravo.
right.
Maybe one day. Maybe. We'll see.
Perfect. All right, so you can get that steak out of there.
You got the pan right? It's cold, bring it over there. Wait, don't put it back down because it will burn. So now you want to put the other one in or not?
I mean, what I was gonna say is, can we clean that pan out just a little bit, and then you're basically gonna repeat. We'll add some more oil. We'll get it hot, and we'll cook that second steak.
Second steak is much thinner.
It is? Okay, good. So we don't want to go like 3 minutes aside is like plenty.
Take the computer back.
Perfect.
It's a reseed.
Okay, so we're putting you back right here.
Perfect. Okay, so the second steak, same deal. Like I said, let's, don't put the oil in, get it nice and hot. About 3 minutes aside, I think is going to be good.
So if the steak that was just on the stove top, now that it's resting, when do we put it in the oven?
You know what? I don't think we're going to. Let's just leave it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to. So we have 9 minutes on the orecchiette. That water is boiling, I'm assuming, right? Because the pasta's in there. Cool.
6 minutes to go with this.
Yep.
The butter again.
Start with the oil for the steak, and we'll really get it ripping hot. A couple tablespoons. Yeah, get good covering.
Keep going.
Cool.
That's good.
And then, yeah, just like blast that heat up. There you go. And then just let it sit, and then yeah, just kind of hang out until the thing is hot.
So what does he need to get ready? Butter?
A little more butter, a little rosemary, a little garlic.
We ended up using a half, so we'll just get this ready.
Just cut it up.
And then Brett, do you need more garlic? Or you got some?
I got a clove over here, half a clove, quarter of a clove, however many cloves comes in.
Couple cloves is plenty. It's just really for flavor.
You got another one, might as well put it in.
All right, then you take this and I'll get the garlic.
There's one right there.
Well, that's the one I had. Oh, now that is.
Wonderful. Read it. Read it.
We got the
Dog.
dog. We got the
So
dog
bad.
enjoying some garlic.
Oh, yeah, it scares me with the things that hit the ground.
Can I see if it will sizzle?
I would don't put it in yet. I'd let the pan get hot for like a minute, for sure.
All right, there you go.
Oh, that's
Leave.
safe. Nice and plugged up.
Dad,
Yeah.
we got an issue with the dog.
Is he eating the
Do you
dog?
have a meat thermometer?
Yes, we do.
Let's try. I mean, is it a digital?
It's electric.
It's a digital.
Oh, okay. Do me a favor. Put that. Yeah, put that into the thickest part of the steak. I'm just curious.
You want Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit.
Okay. Hey, some chefs like Celsius. We're up. 107.
Okay, that's fine. So it's still under. So what we'll do is we'll finish it in the pan with the other steak when the time comes, because that's going to carry over a bit, but it's still going to be more like rare. So it's probably going to need a couple more minutes in the pan. That's fine.
This one's really thin.
Yeah. The
Okay.
pan is starting to smoke a little bit.
All right, perfect. So let's add your steak to that pan, and you can put your heat down to like medium.
Medium.
Oh yeah, that's a thin one. Perfect.
Perfect.
Move. Just move. It's fine.
Right, that's what he's doing?
Nice. And then let it just sit. Perfect. So I think we have this timed out because we have 6.5 minutes on our pasta. So by the time the pasta's done, that steak should be just about done.
Put this in yet or not yet?
3 more minutes.
Okay.
Well, so to answer the Celsius thing though, in Italy, all our recipes like on our share drive are all metric because it's an Italian company. So everything is, the temperatures we still do Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's really confusing because I'm still not like used to it.
Okay.
But it's way more accurate actually. So if a recipe that's in that way is way better. Okay, so you have, just let the steak hang out. Don't even touch it. Just let it chill.
Okay.
I
get the pasta going. Does he
Yep.
He doesn't put the butter in yet?
No. The butter. Don't add any butter to it. Just let the steak just cook. You can actually. Is it really sizzling?
Yeah.
It maybe
No, it was sizzling really.
All right, turn it back. Yeah, turn that heat back up. That's fine. Don't be. Yeah, that's all right.
No, I didn't.
No, I'm saying what's wrong.
There you go. So, the pasta water. Take out like 2 cups of pasta water and just reserve that to the side.
Yep. All set.
Cool. And then, is there a colander in the sink for to drain the
all
pasta?
ready.
Perfect. And then we'll put once we drain, we still have 5 minutes. When we drain the pasta, we'll put that pot. We'll use that pot again. Well, that's how we'll mix the broccoli up and stuff. So we'll keep that pot on the stove after. All right. So in 1 minute, we're gonna flip the steak. I'll tell you when.
Okay. And now I'm gonna add the
Same as before. Yep. Butter, rosemary, garlic, all that good stuff.
stunning.
And then when you do that, add the other steak back into the pan.
Put both of them at the same time.
When you flip it, do you have room to put it in there now?
I can make room.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it.
Now, how many more minutes until the broccoli goes in?
1 minute.
Okay, and then when should I doctor up the potatoes, or just wait till the very end?
Just do that like when you're about to eat. That can, as long as they're staying warm, you're fine. You don't need to do anything.
You want me to flip that other steak now?
Yes,
Well,
flip
I don't
the
have them
steak.
on right now.
Flip it?
Yep.
Put those next to you, so when Nick tells you to dump them in, dump them in.
You can dump them in now.
Dump the broccoli.
Yep.
Yep, right in. So just a quick note for the potatoes, since I don't know if you guys seasoned them at all. If you're going to add feta to it, feta's kind of salty, so you might not have to add a lot of salt. You're just going to have to taste it. You know what I mean? Like it's totally up to
Yeah,
you.
I'll work around that. I gotta get a.
I think I have a new appreciation for chef.
What's that?
I think I have a new appreciation for chef.
Oh, for real.
Like, a lot of shit going on here.
Imagine having to do all this, but then there's like a ticket machine behind you that's
Yeah,
like.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. Like, holy cow.
And then your dishwasher broke, so you have to fix that, and then all this stuff is going on.
Get the camera. Get them up and get
I am. I'm just getting a little bit of everything. This is so fun.
So my whole thing, and I always like, this is like, I'm going to get on my chef soapbox again, but what I always tell people is like, especially if you don't cook a lot, and I get a lot of people in my classes that don't cook a lot, and I say like, if cooking feels like a chore if you don't enjoy doing it, but I think once you get a little confident, it becomes more enjoyable. And that's the thing. It's just like being able to cook with confidence is key. That's like the number one thing. And then you just, you want to experiment more, and it becomes fun. If cooking is not fun, your food's always going to taste terrible. If you're not enjoying it, it's never going to be good. Okay, so you're a minute and a half away from the pasta. When the pasta comes out, we're going to take the steaks out.
I only basted one side of the steak. Is that all right?
That's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Got it.
And then let's put the pan down and then just kind of let it cook there and just let it hang out. You don't have to baste anymore. You can just let it finish cooking.
Mom, can you move for 1 second? I'm get one picture.
Oh, not a minute. I was gonna pose in the middle like that.
Go, get in there. I want to get another picture of you.
Are we going to get Miller Lite to sponsor this? I hope so.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Take that picture back. Till the sponsorship check gets there.
I have to sign a waiver to post that.
I'm so happy I didn't eat all day. Can't wait to eat
I can't
everything.
wait to eat.
All right, so we're T-minus 48 seconds. I'll tell you when here. We're very
All
close.
right.
What is this?
What is it?
Little
The
bit.
vinegar, right?
Yeah.
Maybe go over the
I can't remember.
What's the vinaigrette for?
That's for the steak.
Yep.
Okay.
Goes over the steak.
So what we'll do is because I saw you had that just the random mixed greens in there. You can do you can dress that however you want, but I'm picturing the cherry peppers you can just put on the steak, and then they just have a little side salad.
Okay.
All right, so dump the pasta now and take your steaks out.
Okay, dump the pasta now.
Yep, and then put that pot back on the stove after you dump the pasta.
Shut it off though, right?
Yeah, just keep it on low. We're gonna use it. We're gonna need to get it hot again.
Shut that. Okay, pasta is drained.
Great, and then put that pot back on the stove, and then I want you to add 1 cup of that pasta water to the stove.
That second steak we cooked was at about 115.
Almost done.
Perfect. Let's let it sit. That's perfect. So you're gonna add. You have the stove on. Yep. So half of that pasta water in the pot. Then you're gonna take some of your broccoli pesto, and I don't know. I mean, let's start with a cup. Start with like a couple like generous spoons of it, And then you're going to make kind of like a sauce with that pasta water and that broccoli.
Wow, this is delicious.
So just enough liquid so that it starts to loosen that up. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a saucy consistency is what we want.
Like a thin but thick sauce.
Correct.
All right, this is looking wonderful.
Okay. So once you're kind of, then what you'll do is when we're going to add our pasta to that pot now, use the remaining pasta water. You know, you don't have to use all of that, but if you need to adjust it, if it looks too thick, add a little bit of water to it, and that will help kind of like get that consistency that you want. Yeah, throw it all in there. So you're going to have enough food for a couple days, I think, which is good.
You don't know.
Or maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
Can we toss a little grated cheese in here?
Yes. So
changing his recipes.
I'll tell you what you're gonna do. So yeah, you add. So do you think you need to add any more liquid right now, or how's it look?
No, it's a little liquidy.
Okay, that's fine. If it's a little loose, just turn your heat up just a bit so the pasta will keep cooking. It'll start to absorb. Yeah, can you move it around so I can see? Keep moving it. Okay, that's fine. So we'll finish cooking it in here for about a minute. If you want to add more broccoli, you can. It's hard for me to tell with the camera, like how.
I'm just gonna add a little more.
Yeah. Okay.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Cool. So what
then we
we're
can
gonna do,
save that. Yeah, we can save the rest, right?
when we kill our heat in like a minute, that's when you're gonna sprinkle in some more cheese. So you always want to add your cheese off of the heat, and always at the end.
I didn't hear what he said.
Off the heat.
Oh, you add the cheese off the heat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when you shut that off, add your cheese in, mix, and it'll melt. If we add it too soon, it'll break. So you always add your fat at the end.
Add at the end, he said.
It's looking wonderful.
Good. So yeah, then we'll go like 30 more seconds with the pasta. Then yeah, like I said, the parm is fine. If you have the parm open, I would just sprinkle in another good handful of it.
Water didn't break.
They don't break.
All right, so now are we taking?
Well, let me show them. Let me show them.
Go to the bottom of the pan here so I can see. All right, perfect. So kill your heat.
Kill the heat.
And then sprinkle in your cheese.
All right.
Where's the cheese?
I grab it.
It can be kind of, it's all like up to you. I would only put in like a nice handful to start, and then you can always add more on top later on. There you go.
Yeah, this is looking wonderful.
So the cheese is in. So that's all you're going to do now with the pasta when you plate it, is you're going to take the breadcrumbs and just sprinkle the breadcrumbs like on top, however much you want, but it's going to be like nice and crunchy and lemony. But don't add any breadcrumbs and add them on individually, because if you add them all together, they can get like soggy the next day. So
okay.
What I do with those, like I make those breadcrumbs a lot, and what I'll do is I'll just put them into a little Tupperware container, and then use them for salads.
I can save those?
Yep, exactly. Oh yeah, totally.
Nice.
Totally.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I made.
What are we doing this weekly?
I did. I made something, and they're good on salads. They're good. As long as they're
on salads, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, it was like chicken with like tomato, arugula, and cucumber, and I just sprinkled all those breadcrumbs on top. They're great.
Yeah, I like a little crunch to my salad, so this is great.
I do too, and I prefer if I was like in any Italian restaurant, like even there's been times where they've snuck panko into stuff because I think it's just a better breadcrumb. Like I like how like crunchy it is. But that's it. Your steak has been rested, right? So can we get like one more temp on the steak here just to see where we're at?
Temp on the steak.
I'm coming. No, I'm gonna talk to you. Bud Light. But Miller Lite. No light. Don't throw shade.
What type of restaurant does your sister have on Block Island?
So she owns, my brother-in-law is like the chef, and then she does front of the house. So they own Poor People's Pub, and then they own Tiger Fish, which is like the tiki bar kind of Asian thing.
I was just curious. We ship ice cream over to Block Island, so I was wondering.
I wonder if they buy it. I'm sure they do. I mean, there's not a ton of restaurants. I mean, it's a small
no, that's why I asked. That's what I was curious.
Funny.
I have like 2 customers over there. We do all the Ben and Jerry's over there,
Okay.
And one other account. But I was just curious. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking at 119.
What is it?
We're looking at 119 on the flattest steak. Yeah.
That's perfect.
And then
The thicker one?
on the thicker one, hold on. What do you call it when you roll up the basil to cut it?
Begins with a C.
What was it called when you roll up the basil?
Chiffonade.
Chiffonade. I forget it now.
About 120 on the thickest steak.
Okay, that's perfect. So that's like medium rare. That's like the lower end of medium rare, which is what we want because we can always, and if you want to like tomorrow, if there's any leftovers, if you want to heat it up, you don't have to worry about it turning into shoe leather, you know, like if it was so, but the big thing with it is obviously the end pieces are going to be a little bit more pink than the middle, but like I said, thin and against the grain. That's the key.
You want me to do that? Should I do it now?
Once you're ready to eat, because we're pretty much, this is it. Like we're done.
Okay.
So that's up to you.
You have to do the potatoes. And then
So what do we do with the potatoes?
So that I was gonna say, grab some Greek yogurt and some feta from the fridge, and just like.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Ooh.
No problem. Brooke, I didn't see you there.
It's another stress with the kitchen. Tight spaces.
Yeah, fine. So now
Spin you around this way.
Yep. So this one is a total like I don't know personal preference, right? Like if I'm not a huge feta person personally, but I know that it goes well with this. But like add as much. I would start off with a generous spoon of the yogurt. Yeah, like a good.
That's a teaspoon now.
Go ahead, do like one more. There you go, and then start to mix that in and see how where we're at. And we haven't seasoned this, right? There's no salt in there. Okay, so we're gonna want to season it, and definitely the feta will help. But so you can sprinkle in, or the feta you can just sprinkle in on top. That's totally up to you. I don't know, what do you think? Another thing of yogurt, or how's that look? I can't really.
I need a little.
Yeah, go ahead. That's basically our fat. So that's like you adding your milk or your butter to your potatoes.
Okay.
yeah, this is looking good.
Cool.
You want to smash it?
Yeah, just.
Are there any potatoes in there, or is it all salt?
Yeah. No, it's
tomatoes. Potatoes.
Tomatoes?
It's potatoes. Sorry, Nick. I had a couple.
No, that's okay.
Do you know Frankie Pasquale?
I do. I don't know him well. I mean, I've only met him a couple times, but his son-in-law owns one of the or helps run one of the restaurants in the North End, and I used to work with him like a long time ago. So, kind of like 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
They have quite the little empire in the North End, that's for sure.
Yes, they do.
I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, that's the thing. I heard they were talking about.
Nick,
What's that?
You want pepper in that?
That's up to you guys. I mean, I think pepper and yogurt goes well together. But I heard they were going to propose maybe shutting Hanover down to automobiles so that they would open up the patios more and make it.
That's a good idea.
They're in Newberry Street too. They're talking about doing that. They're going to have to, because otherwise these restaurants are going to die. Because
I think that's a great idea.
And think about in the North End how packed those places are.
Yeah.
You can't. And so that's why, like, if I'm a restaurant owner and you said, hey, you can open up but at 25% occupancy, well, some of those restaurants only seat 30 people. So what am I going to do? Open up for 6 people? Like, it doesn't, the numbers don't make sense.
Shouldn't be driving down those roads anyways.
I agree.
In the North End. I mean, Newbury's different, but I mean, if they have to shut Newbury down for that reason, that's fine.
I'm fine with. I mean, there's a lot of cities that do that stuff where they'll shut down a city or a street from like May to October.
Oh yeah, I had heard that.
So I'm all for that. I mean, I'm trying to think, like we do a lot of shopping in Haymarket, and I'm thinking, well, is Haymarket going to be open? Like, are we going to be able to go to like farmers markets? Like, I don't even know if they decided about that. But yeah, like the North End, those restaurants. I mean, you need to do is volume. And I just don't know how they're going to, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Frank's places will be fine, but like even still, it wouldn't surprise me if like they have to close one of them just based on, numbers.
Yeah.
I love the bread there, the panetteria is freaking unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we're doing well.
Good.
How are we plating this?
Well, I mean, you guys are the big time chefs here, you know what I mean? That's all up to you. But
that's the Florence queen over here. Bravo star / Florence queen.
That's it.
What?
The
Okay,
plate.
well, we didn't cut the meat yet, so we can't plate it.
Oh.
So I don't think we need, I don't know when you like disembark here.
I think I think we're approaching my departure pretty soon because we're hitting the 2-hour mark, but
Oh, okay.
I do want to see you cut the steak to make sure that we're happy with how it came out.
So let me do that right now, okay? I'm gonna flip this over.
Do you ever watch Below Deck?
TV shows?
Oh, is that where they work on the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Do you know any of the chefs from it?
No, I mean, I've only seen like random, bits here or there from it.
Right.
You know the guy from Cook, Paul Toronto?
The name rings a bell.
He owns a couple restaurants. Paul Toronto is his name.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially like in Boston, like the city's so small, so the industry is so like incestuous. So it's like usually if you don't know someone, like someone that does, or like the names sound familiar.
He worked for us years ago, so that's
that's
how we know him. He's a good kid. He's from Stoughton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cook
And he
has-
owned another place in Arlington.
I don't remember the name.
I don't remember the name. It was in Arlington, though. Okay, so I'm cutting against the grain.
Against the grain,
You wanna
nice and
show 'em,
thin.
Brooke?
Let's see how that. Can that camera go down a bit just so I can see
Yep.
here? Perfect. So yeah, just like that, and then nice and thin. Just like a little roast. Is that the bigger piece of the smaller
That's
piece?
the thinner.
This is the
Okay,
thinner
So
one.
that was the one that was at what, like 120? We said.
I was at 118.
Okay, that's fine.
Looks good.
Pink.
For
Yep.
the most part, yeah.
Perfect. Oh my goodness.
And then if it was me, this is what I would do. I would take a few strips of that. Like I would add the cherry pepper stuff individually. You know what I mean? So I'd give everyone like a few strips and then just kind of spoon some of the cherry pepper vinaigrette right on the top and then call it a day. Maybe the little side salad, but everything else I would do very like rustic and family style. The only thing I would omit would be the breadcrumbs. Just put those on like individually. Because if you pack it up the next day, I think it'll get a little too.
Right. That goes on the cauliflower potato.
And sorry?
That goes on the cauliflower potato?
That goes on the pasta.
Pasta, sorry.
But you could put it on the cauliflower. I mean, that would be good.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought that.
It would be nice, something a little crunchy. Well, I think this was a success.
I do too, Nick. All
This is
right.
pretty good.
So I think we're good, right?
I think you guys
Good.
are.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You were so generous with your
I know.
time.
I'm like now.
Something for social media.
What do
I
we
would.
get for social media
Brett, Sam, I want to take a selfie. Like,
with Nick.
yeah, but I just want to do it like on my Instagram and then like tag you.
Good call. Because actually, I took a picture earlier. I told Josh I would tag the Sous Cheft tea thing as well.
Let me pull it up. Okay. Ready, Brett? Hold on, Brett. Where are you?
Get everyone in here.
I want to make sure we're going to have to hold on. The lighting is horrible. For me, at least. Hold on one
You
second.
shut the light off. There you go.
All right.
I'll
Yes.
just keep cutting the meat.
Yeah, you keep cutting the meat back. All right, Brett, stand next to me. I want to make sure we see Nick.
You see him?
I can't.
don't-
All right, we gotta reposition.
Yeah, no worries.
Hold on, we gotta make sure.
Without the light.
I mean, we know he's in a rush to go out. Well, wait, he might have the music band
I got-
tonight.
That's at 6:30 though.
Oh, okay.
I have an idea. Hold on one second.
Oh,
We're getting there.
Wait, I have an idea. Can't you make him the big?
Oh yeah,
the big part?
let's
Oh, like enlarge my screen.
Yes, don't
speaker
go-
view. Perfect.
There we go.
Wonderful.
Good job, Brett. I'll get out of the way. You see him, Brooke?
Hold on, yeah, but it just 1 second. Want to make sure it's perfect. All right, we're gonna do one more.
Yeah, no worries.
I want to make sure we're really working the social media
I'm
here.
trying to get to 1,000 followers here. So anything.
Well, you
anything
got 3 follows here because
Nice.
I need
I don't
the.
have Instagram. Oh, yeah, that's
wait, you got a long arm. You take it.
And you got
Switch
the
with-
Bravo Queen. She'll get you a lot of followers.
Wow, I need it. I'm trying to get on the Real Housewives show. I need to be a private chef.
You should get on below deck.
There we go.
Lots of good ladies.
I'll let my wife know.
One more, Brett. Save that and then one more.
Save it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one.
Perfect.
Oh, Nick, we are going to be calling you again.
Please do.
All right? I'm going to think about what I want to cook this
My
time.
schedule is wide open. Trust me.
I'm so excited. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
And yeah, I mean, I would say like, man, I would love to like do this in person or like come to Italy, but maybe in the future, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But this works too. But we'll work with what we can do right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was awesome meeting you. Enjoy the dinner.
We are very excited. Thank you.
We'll make sure we tag you in everything.
Please do. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
So much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.